Hello students, good morning and I am Rupali. So today we are going to learn from your physics textbook chapter number 3, that is force. So in today's class we will learn what is force. So let's take an example. Imagine you are going for picnic and suddenly the bus got breakdown and the driver is not able to start the bus. That time driver will tell you to apply the force and push the bus. So here then what the all boys will do from that bus, they will get down and they will push the bus and the bus will start. So here we are using the word here push. So push means when we apply the force, something will move away or forward. Which something will move forward or away from us. That time we call it is a push. When you open the door will go away from you. That is you are pushing the door. So that is what is a push. So hope you understand what is push. When we apply the force to move the objects and it will move away from you. That is what is a push. And suppose you want to close the door, that time you will pull the door, right? Then door will close. So that is what is a pull here. So pull means when we apply the force to the objects to move, that time something will come towards to you, to close to you or towards you is called as a pull. So here two words are very important in associated with force. One is push and another is pull. When we apply the force, that time the object will move forward or away from you. That time it is a push. When we apply the force and the object will towards to you, that is called as a pull. So then what is force? So force is, in a simple words, the force is defined as push or pull. So what is force then? The force is, in a simple word, defined as push or pull is what is a force. So what is force? The force is defined as push or pull. When you do push or pull, that time the force is happening. So what are the effects? What are the changes will happen when we apply the force? So there are few changes will happen when we apply the force. So what are the changes? So we'll take first one. So we call it is the effects of the force. So effect of force. So what are the effects we are getting when we apply the force? The first one, when we apply the force, it causes the motion in the stationary objects. When we apply the force, the motion will happen in stationary object. So what is meant by stationary? Stationary means the objects which are resting. There is no motion. They are just kept there. It is in the constant. So that is called the stationary object. When we apply the force, the motion will happen in the stationary objects. So for example, suppose the book is kept on the table. So it is a stationary. It is not moving now. It is a resting position. When we apply the force with the hand, the book starts moving away from this. So that is called as the motion in stationary objects. The object is kept on the table and just we are applying the force with the hand. The object is moving in the table. And suppose we want to pull the chair. When we take the chair, we pull the chair or push the chair will change the position, means we change the place also. That is also examples of motion in stationary objects. So hope you understand what is the first effect will happen when we apply the force. The stationary objects will do the movements. It is not necessary that all stationary objects will do the motion. For example, you take the wall of your classroom. If you apply the force and you want to push the wall will not push. If you apply how much force we have altogether, if you apply also, the wall will not move. So in that case, we can't tell that motion is happening in the stationary objects. So few cases it is not possible also, because we don't have that much large amount of force to push the wall. So hope you understand first point. The second point is because of when we apply the force, the objects will stop or slow down. Because when we apply the force, the object becomes stop or slow down. Suppose for example, your friend is riding the bicycle and from behind slowly will go and will pull the bicycle. What will happen? Slowly the bicycle will slow down and then it will stop. So when he is riding, it is in motion, but when you pull that, it will slow down. That means the force, whatever the force you are applying to pull him back, that force make him to slow down the bicycle and slowly it will stop. So like that, even when the cricket ground, when the ball is coming from the fielder, that time the ball will come very fast and it will slowly slow down and stop somewhere. Yes, that is also examples of this slow down and stop. Even when you are riding the bicycle, suddenly you will apply the brake. In that case also, the bicycle will slow down and slowly it will stop. So that means whenever we are applying the force, the object will slow down and it will stop suddenly. So that change also happen due to the force only. Now third one, when we apply the force, the objects will move very fast. Object will move very fast. The movement of the object happen very fast. Suppose you are pulling the trolley. When you apply the force, the trolley will go very fast, especially in the slope road. It will go very fast. Again, when the bullock is pulling the cart, he is applying the greater force. In that case also, the bullock cart will go very fast. Also, when we are drawing the car, in that case, when you apply the accelerator, if you apply the accelerator, in that time the car will move very fast. So that means whenever we are applying the force, that time the objects will move very faster. The changes will happen due to the force only. When we apply the force, the faster movement is happening in the objects. So that's why force is very important. Now fourth one, because of force, it will change the directions also. Due to the force, the object will change its direction. Change in direction will happen. So suppose that on the cricket ground, when the ball is coming, the speed of the ball is very fast. It is coming in the high speed. When the batsman uses his bat hand again hit the ball will go with the different speed and the different direction. That means the force is applied the batsman with the help of bat and the ball will go in the different direction and with the higher speed. So that is also example of the force only. Whenever we apply the force, the object will change its direction and will change the speed also. Even also when on the football players are playing on the football ground, they will use the feet to change the direction of the ball. Even when you are riding the bicycle, suppose you want to change the direction, you will apply the force with the handle, the right hand side and the left hand side, and you can change the direction of your route also. So that means due to the force we can change the direction and we can change the speed of the object also. Now fifth one, due to the force we can change the shape of the object. We can change shape of the object. Suppose imagine the string is kept on the wall with the help of nails. When you stretch that string, the shape of the string will change because you are applying the force. That time the string will change its shape also. That means whenever we are applying the force, the shape of the objects is changing. Understood? Now sixth one, due to the force, there is no effect on the mass. If you apply the force, there is no effect on mass. If you apply the force to any object, the mass will not change. Mass is a fixed quantity. It is constant quantity. So mass, if you apply how much of force apply, the mass of the object remains constant. It will not change anything. So that is the reason the mass of any mass is inheritance property of the matter. Because when we never see the mass it is inheritance property of the matter. That means when how much force if you apply on the object, the mass remains the same, the constant quantity. It is a constant quantity. Mass will not change. These are the few changes will happen due to the force. So hope till now you understand what are the effects happening due to the force. Now we see there are different kinds of forces around us. So what are the forces we can see here? You see one by one what are the forces around us. So first one is a contact force. So there are different kinds of force. First one is a contact force and non-contact force. So what is contact force? So there are types of forces. So what are the types of forces? We see. First one is a contact force. So what is contact force? The force that occurs only when two objects are physically touching each other. So what is contact force? When the force that occurs when two objects are in physically contact, means physically touching each other, that time the force is occurring. That force is called as a contact force. So here the word physical touching is very important. Physically touching. So what is the example of the contact force? When you rub your hand, that time two hands are in contact with each other. So whatever the force is occurring in the both hands, that is called as a contact force. Or when the books is resting on a table, on a upward normal force is happening. When it is resting on a table, there is no movements is happening. That time it is called as a contact force only. Or when you pull or push the toy, that time whatever the force, because the contact between your hand and the toy, there are two objects here, and the string, we are pulling the string, the objects or the toy also moving. So that means toy and the strings, with the help of your hand, they contact with each other. That is the reason motion is happening. That is called as a contact force. So then what is non-contact force? The non-contact force is a force that acts without any physical touching. So what is non-contact force? The non-contact force is the force it is without physical touching. So without physical touching, whatever the force occurs, that force is called as a non-contact force. For example, when you are holding the ball and you throw down, the ball will go down. Why the ball will go down? Because the gravitational force. The gravitational force will attract the ball towards its gravity. So whenever we are throwing the ball, it will go down only. So that is called as a gravitational force. And gravitational force is the examples of non-contact force only. Again, one will take one more example. Suppose magnet is there and pins are there. When we take the magnet near to the iron pins, it will attract each other. That is also examples of the non-contact force only, because here nothing physical contact or physical touching is happening. Only it is happening between the magnet and the iron pins only. So that is called as a, again, non-contact force only. So these are the different kinds of forces we can see in our textbook. So in the next class, we are going to learn different types of forces. Again, we have different types: muscular force, gravitational force, then machine force, then we have electrical force. So different forces we have. So we'll see in detail in the next class. So before close this class, just I want to summarize what you understand. So what is push? Push means when we apply the force, something will move away from you. That is called as a push. And what is pull? When we apply the force and something is coming near to us, that is called as a pull. So what is that force? Force is defined as a push or pull. So then we saw what are the changes when we apply the force, what are the changes will happen. So when we apply the force, the stationary object will do the motion. When we apply the force, the objects will slow down, or after some time will stop also. When we apply the force, the objects move very fast. So that also we saw along with the example. When we apply the force, the object will change its direction and also will change the speed also. When we apply the force, the object will change its shape also, and there is no effect or there is no cause on the mass also. The mass remains the constant quantity. If you how much more pressure force if you apply also, the mass will not change, it remains the constant only. Also we learn about contact force. When two objects are physically touching each other, that time whatever the force is occurring, that force is called as a contact force. Also we saw the non-contact force. What is non-contact? When the two objects are not in physically touch with each other, that is called as a non-contact force. I have given the example: gravitational force, magnetic force. These are the few examples of the non-contact force. So hope you understood in today's class what we learned. So see you next time with the more fun, with the more examples, and the more interesting topic. So thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day.